Hey Patrick,
Hey Mark, hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Almost Christmas. How are you?
Yeah, uh, I'm good as well. So almost Christmas. Yeah, that's really surprising, right? Every time in this year it comes so surprising, and yeah, I've been a good boy. How about you? Do you think you will get some presents this year?
Um, yeah, I think I already know my presents, but yeah, I think I've been decent.
I think it'll be decent.
Okay,
Yeah. So no punishment this year.
no punishment.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it every single year. It's a bit quieter. I don't know how it's over there where you live, but where I live, it's -2 degrees. People are getting slower. The world is moving slower, and I really enjoy this time of the year. I really enjoy it.
hmm
Yeah. Do you enjoy it as well? Or are you more like the summer guy?
Oh, I'm way more of a summer guy, but
Mm.
I do like the coziness of Christmas and also, playing some music or doing some things that you
Mm.
finally get around to do. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
Do you play some music on your own?
No, I mean, no, I mean, I play some music on YouTube. I make some playlists, not play some music myself.
Yeah. The World of Warcraft playlist
No, no.
every year, right?
No, I
Yeah,
do
but
like,
that sounds actually pretty good.
yeah, I do like video game music to be honest, but you should
Yeah.
check Froddle if you like a good video game artist.
Throttle.
Yeah, Froddle, Fruddle. He makes pretty nice
Mm,
music. But
cool.
nah, Christmas for me, Christmas is basically special Christmas music that I don't, play any other time of the year.
Okay, yeah, I like it as well.
Cool.
Okay, let's get into the crypto stuff. Yeah, did any changes to your portfolio this week? Anything that happened?
No, not really. So I'm still half USDC, half Sol on my Solana account. So, but that already happened yesterday. And yeah, for the rest, I don't think the market really shifted the relative
Yeah.
percentages too much as far as I can tell. So no, I
Yeah.
don't think I have any changes to my portfolio at the moment. What about you?
The Lyra airdrop, was that last week or was it within the last 7 days or within the last 14 days?
I think it was within the last 14 days.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so then basically no changes for me at all. I did one thing actually.
Okay.
Um, I built up a super small position in Near Protocol, a really small one, because I heard the name Near, so it's Near, like being near to someone. I think it pumped pretty good over the last couple of days, and I basically did it because I heard some influencers talk about it. And by influencers, I mean Suzu, for example, and also some guy on Up Only. So yeah, I DCA'd a little bit into it. So this is super small position,
Okay.
almost not worth mentioning. But yeah, this is one thing I'm thinking a lot about right now.
Interesting.
Areas areas where I feel underexposed and how can I get into it. So yeah, this is part of my DCAing into stuff where I feel underexposed.
And Patrick, how did you get exposure to Near? Did you use it like Binance, or did you buy it on Ethereum, or like how did you get the token?
I bought it on Binance,
Okay.
and I'm a fan of Binance. Uh, it's um, it's pretty good. They have a lot of trading pairs. The fees are quite low. Um, I do have some funds on Binance, so for my security, I don't do it all on cold wallets. I don't do it all on hot wallets. I don't do it all on exchanges. I spread it out, so whenever something goes south, I'm at least somehow protected. So I do have, let's say, how much do I have on Binance? 1 to 2% of my portfolio, maybe. And
Okay.
yeah, I had some Soul sitting on Binance, and it was some trading Soul. So in Germany, we have this taxation that you can split up your wallets, and if I hold one wallet for over a year, it's tax free. But if I do some trades with another wallet, it gets taken a look separated, and this is what was basically my trading wallet. So there was no need for me to take tax into consideration because I would need to hold them for 1 year. So I took some of this Solana. because for me it's pretty similar Solana and Near, and I just try to spread out a little bit. Just for example, let's say Solana stays at place 5, place 4, place 6, place 7, whatever. Maybe place 1 in a couple of years on CoinMarketCap. But yeah, I feel that Near I'm super unexposed to it, and I try to build up positions on those alternative layer ones where I have at least some conviction that that is not a total scam. So yeah, Near falls under this category where I think it's quite legit.
Okay. What do you think, like how does the chain work, or like what do you think is special about it, or what type of chain is it compared to some others? What would be
Okay,
the best analogy?
okay. Big disclaimer. I have no fucking clue. uh, I I did, and this is honestly the part where I think have you if you would have asked me this question a couple of months ago, I would have said, "Oh, how could you invest into something where you didn't do your deep research?" But I think honestly, it's not that important that you understand every investment until the deepest details. It's always in comparison to your overall portfolio. And for me, I watched 2 videos, I guess. So I did about 2 hours worth of research, and yeah, the research I listened to was from quite legit guys. So I trust them in quotes, trust in quotes, right? Never trust people on the internet. But I think those guys are legit, and they said something along the lines of, "Yeah, it's pretty similar to Solana. They have uh, some teams, they work together, they interact with each other from both ecosystems, and yeah, it's not the same, but I don't know how to differentiate them. But I heard this comparison on those sources, on those both sources, separate from each other. So I think it's quite valid. But if you ask someone who is more knowledgeable about Nia, he will tell you, "Oh, Patrick is so dumb, he has no idea." But for me, it's okay for now. If I want to DCA in more, I will do more research. But for now, I think it's just a legit bet, I think.
Okay. Well, a lot of the trading is also like a trend and momentum, right? So you don't
Mm,
even necessarily have to have it
exactly.
if you're a good trader. So
Exactly.
yeah, I can understand where you're coming from in that
Yeah.
regard. Okay, that's definitely interesting. I should definitely check out DeFi Llama to see what kind of protocols there are on here, because I haven't explored it really yet.
Yeah. Dito. Yeah, but I think you bring up a pretty good point. So I don't know how you are, but I have at least 50 notes of things I want to do research on. And I know I might come across to do the research in a couple of months, maybe never. So I feel that I've been in crypto long enough, and I have my um, realm of sources where I think it's quite legit that I can do some super small research, and if I feel comfortable enough, it makes more sense just to ape in a little bit before doing more research, because otherwise it would lead to analysis paralysis, and then yeah, the thesis might be right, but I did not invest in it, and yeah, what's the point even then of doing the research, right? Other than yeah, learning something.
So you're basically using other people as an authority on certain investments. And yeah, I think
Exactly.
if you can prune the right people over time that are profitable and that are good, I think it definitely would be a valid strategy
Yeah.
to save a lot of time.
Yeah. Basically, I trust BitBoy. No, just kidding.
I hope not.
No, man, this guy. But that's a different point. Different point, right? Okay. Do we want to transition into anything remarkable that's happened this week, or do you want to talk about your portfolio? What do you want?
No, let's transition.
Okie dokie. Yeah, I do have a couple of points, and we talked before the episode. Yeah, do you want me to start with my points, or do you want to bring up your points?
I don't have that many points this week, so why don't you start with your points?
Okay, I do have quite a lot of points, so I would like to hear your opinion on a particular question.
Sure.
And the question comes from one of my friends, and to give you a little bit of context, so he's at his early 30s. He has a child. He's not that super wealthy. He earns a normal income. He's a normal guy like you and I am. he's not too smart, not too dumb, but he's a good guy. He has the heart on the right place, and he's also in tech. He listens to a lot of personal development stuff. So I think he's a really progressive guy, and I appreciate his thinking, and I appreciate his ideas. And over the last couple of months, he got a little bit more interested in crypto. And but he's a total newbie, and he sees himself as a newbie himself. So I don't want to diss him. He's a newbie basically, and he was asking me the question, "Hey Patrick, how can I, as a newbie, invest into crypto for my retirement without having knowledge, deep knowledge about it, and without having the time to do my deep research on my own?" So the question is basically, how can people that are somewhat interested in crypto invest into crypto for the retirement, which might be 30 years ahead? Do you have any ideas about this question?
Um, yeah, that's kind of tricky because 30, 40 years is a lot of time, you know. Like you don't know which protocols will exist at that point in time. My first thought was to buy TCAP, which is a token which is a synthetic token and basically represents the total value of all yeah of the whole crypto market cap. So this is something that would definitely work until retirement in theory if you assume that crypto as a whole industry will go up. Now that's very likely. So then
Hmm,
TCAP is definitely
smart.
a good way to play the beta, you know, of the portfolio. I am a little bit concerned though, but you know, you don't know if TCAP still exists in 30 years or 40 years. So
Hmm,
this is definitely a pretty big concern of mine. Also because it's a synthetic protocol, so you have to yeah, there have to be people who are interested in it, you know, to keep the you know the base going basically. So that makes me kind of doubt on what to do. In that sense, I would probably just like buy like the top three tokens or something and just check every year what are the new top three tokens and buy those or something and then
hmm,
alternate every year and then I would buy them probably on you know what you said like Binance or FTX
hmm,
um, and ideally I'd also uh, enter something that it, make sure that you auto buy it every week you know so or every month so you
hmm,
DCA into it over the year. I think that's a pretty good hands-off, relatively safe approach of still getting some crypto exposure. Yeah,
hmm.
what do you think?
It's really it's super interesting. I thought about this as well, and the TCAP thing is really interesting. I think that's from a concept point of view a good idea. I agree that you have a lot of counterparty risk, so you don't know if the issue of the TCAP will be around in 30 years. Um, I think you pretty much nailed it. I think crypto is around for yeah 13 years or so, right? October 2008,
Hmm.
Bitcoin. And I think there is no way to invest into crypto for the next 30 years. Um, so much can happen. And I think you can do it two ways. The first one is that you do it kind of semi-actively. So you do it like you just said, pick the top three ones and basically ask someone who has a pretty deep knowledge and who you trust, hey, what do you think? How should I position myself for the upcoming year? And I think if you have this person, you should do rebalancing every year. So it's not a one and done for the next 30 years, but you do some rebalancing once a year. And the other thing where I'm not that knowledgeable about, um, the GBTC one from Grayscale. Um, couldn't you just go ahead and tell them, okay, guys, take my money. I want to buy uh, your trust. They have a specific allocation. And if someday the trust will go under also, they will basically take care of you. So it's basically like a personal finance guy. Yeah, do you have some more knowledge about how those products work? The GBTC one, do they do some portfolio allocation? What if they see in 5 years Yeah, the GBTC you bought from us, they're totally worthless. Yeah, we do X, Y, Z with your money. Do you have any knowledge about this?
Oh, I think what GBTC is, I think it's an ETN, so it's not an ETF. So, and I think what it means is that basically, yeah, it's a trust that holds Bitcoin and that buys Bitcoin. And
Mm,
if you put money in there, if you give them money, they will buy Bitcoin for you and put it in the trust. And and I think there's only like a fixed period when you can take it out again or something like this out of the trust theoretically. But because it's a stock, you can trade it anytime, right? Um,
mm,
so yeah, of course you could do GBTC, but then yeah, you do have pure Bitcoin exposure. Yeah? So if you like other things, of course you could also try the other Grayscale products because they also have like a DeFi product and a Solana product and maybe a Terra
mm,
product or something. So what you could do is just keep up to date with Grayscale mailing list or something and
mm,
buy the new products whenever it comes out. Um, yeah, that's a valid strategy if you don't want to touch crypto at all. I think it's yeah, yeah. Personally, I don't have much faith in the stock market in the long term, So I'd,
mm,
I'd rather own crypto than own stocks, just in case we have like a massive, yeah, black swan event in the stock market.
mm,
I feel like crypto is way way safer, ironically, than stocks in
mm,
such an event. So yeah, but you could definitely do that. It's just hard to predict what's going to happen in the next 30
mm.
years. That's such a long
Yeah,
time
that's
in the future.
impossible. Yeah, yeah. I would give my friend the following answer. So I do have a sister, and I love her like no one else, basically, besides my parents. And I basically gave her the recommendation. Uh, and I think between sister and brother, you can give recommendations, but don't trust guys on the internet. So, guys, do your own due diligence. I basically told her, um, sister, just buy 50% ETH, 50% BTC, and whenever something comes up, I will let you know that you need to sell your ETH bags or your BTC bags. So the TLDR is basically, I think, if someone would put a gun to my head and told me, okay, give me the perfect allocation for my retirement fund, I would tell them, okay, 50% ETH, 50% BTC, but please ask me once a year and please put the gun to my head once a year again so I can tell you if you're still on the right track.
Okay, so your advice is basically become the sister of Patrick, and he will give you advice.
Yeah, pretty much this. I think you can't invest into crypto for the next 30 years. You need someone who is at least somewhat knowledgeable.
Yeah, I think you know Balaji Srinivasan, right? So his advice is pretty similar. So he says like, if you could only buy one asset, just buy Bitcoin, and if
Mm,
you want to take more risk, just do a 50% Bitcoin, 50% ETH. So I
mm,
think I think it's perfectly
yeah.
fine. I don't think it will, outperform everything, but it will still outperform a lot of things probably.
No,
So
it won't
yeah,
outperform. I'm pretty sure that the Sharpie ratio of Bitcoin and Ethereum will be superb over the upcoming years, but there will be protocols where the Sharpie ratio might be a little bit better, but who knows? It's just a guessing game. So I think yeah, if you don't have that much money to gamble around and you don't want to gamble, just pick ETH, pick BTC. You will outperform most likely other asset classes like stocks and bonds and commodities and gold and stuff like this. Most likely, obviously, no guarantee. And yeah, it's I think totally legit to pick those tools. I think ARK Invest does a what do they do? I think ARK Invest does one third Ethereum, two-third Bitcoin. Am I right? Do you know anything about this?
um, I haven't heard of this. I thought ARK Invest just had custom hedge, custom funds, that invest in actively in different kind of protocols and
Yeah,
tokens.
yeah, they have this innovation fund, and this fund um, invests into Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, but I think they also invest in the whole ecosystem, right? Or not just the coins? Or do they just trade around the
Mm.
coins?
Okay, I think we both don't know the answer to
Y-
this. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe I shouldn't have brought it up, but I think yeah, let me do some research and I will put in the show notes.
yeah, no worries. Like I do know that. Oh, okay. Now I'm blanking at the name. what's the friend of Raul Paul who is also who also has his own fund? Oh yeah, Dan Tapiero. Like I know that
Ah,
he
okay,
has a
yeah.
Bitcoin fund, and it basically buys Bitcoin, but then it trades around the price a little bit, you know. So it has some smart
Hmm.
way to get a little bit more yield out
Ah,
of your Bitcoin.
interesting.
So this is maybe a possible option if you want to go with the pure Bitcoin route.
Yeah, interesting. Cool. Um, okay. I think we could leave it to this. I think we gave a good answer. And if there is need for more details, please let us know, dear listener. And yeah. Okay. Do we want to go to the next remarkable thing that happened this week?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. 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 I do have one more, and then we can go to what excites us thing. Do you want to hear it, or do you want to share one of yours?
No, I want to hear it. Let's bring it on.
Okay, okay. So this is pretty interesting for me. So I do listen to a lot of Uncommon Core episodes over and over and over again because I think the things that they say they are sometimes more relevant a year later or so. And I've been listening to an older episode, and they talked about the narrative of Bitcoin. And at the time, the narrative of Bitcoin was like, okay, the central banks are printing money. There will be a lot of inflation. Bitcoin will go up. Bitcoin is the hedge for inflation. Blah 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 blah. We all know the story. But two things are pretty interesting. Oh, three things are pretty interesting, and I would like to hear your opinion about it. The first one is that let's say there was inflation and there was inflation. This does by no means mean that there will be inflation in the future. So first point. So that the Bitcoin price will go up based on inflation, I don't buy it because the inflation could be gone and the tapering might begin. The second point is that show me the proof that Bitcoin is an inflation hedge. I think you can't prove it. Um, you see just as on a small time frame that Bitcoin price went up and money got printed, but over the long term, you can't make that good comparison. And the third point is, and this is where I would like to hear your opinion about, um, Bitcoin has evolved over the last couple of years from my point of view. So I'm in crypto since 2017, and I saw Bitcoin go down two narratives. The first narrative was at the end of 2017, okay, Bitcoin as a payment layer, Bitcoin to pay for coffee and stuff like this. And this is totally gone. But the next narrative, which went quite viral, was the Bitcoin is digital gold. And I'm wondering, I think that the Bitcoin is digital gold thesis, it might be at a local maxima right now. So I don't think that this is a good narrative anymore. Um, Obviously, there's room for upside, but not a huge upside. So I'm wondering, do you think that Bitcoin could evolve into another narrative? Do you think it's necessary? And if so, do you have any idea what the next narrative for Bitcoin could be?
Um, yeah, I think it could evolve. I mean, it has evolved over time, right? So why wouldn't it evolve again in the future? I mean, the future is a long time, so it probably will evolve um, for sure. But yeah, with regards to the narrative, I think, but I don't consume too much Bitcoin content, but I consume a little bit.
Dito,
So
yeah.
I think the new Bitcoin narrative is actually unstoppable money and unstoppable
Unstoppable
systems.
money.
Yeah, unstoppable, uncensorable money, basically.
Ah,
I think
okay.
this is the new narrative that I hear a lot. Because I
Oh,
hear a lot
interesting.
new now about apps, that allow you to, I don't know, pay other people without, or no, well, not paying other people, but maybe sending messages to other people or tipping other people or yeah,
Mm.
whatever. Basically, you see a lot of these things right now popping up in Bitcoin space,
Hmm.
and also with we have some authoritarianism in in the world at the moment. So I think this is also why this narrative is becoming stronger, especially with the Bitcoin crowd, who is already anti-authoritarian by
Hmm.
nature. So I think this is the new narrative. And yeah, I do agree that it's probably not gonna, the price probably not gonna increase as much as the others. But I do think it has a pretty, you know, safe future. Like it is pretty likely that it will continue to exist in the future, I think. So this is also
Yeah, I
something that's
agree.
really important. So let's say
Yeah, really good point.
we put you in a freezer and in 20 years you can get out of it.
Hmm.
What token would you buy? Like I'm not sure if Solana is around by then. I'm not even sure if Ethereum is around by then. But Bitcoin is probably
Mm,
probably going to be around by then.
mm,
So this is also yeah, for people who are more long-term
mm,
perspective, it's also important.
mm. Yeah, really good points that you bring up. Um, I'm not quite sure what needs to happen in order to let this narrative go around the world. So I think that the story of COVID, crash, money printing, it was super easy to understand, right? Super easy. And I'm wondering if the censorship resistant slash unstoppable money meme, what needs to happen in order to make this go viral? The GME one was quite similar, right? They prohibited people from trading, but did this lead to a real big surge on Ethereum DeFi protocols? Not really. So I'm wondering what needs to happen for this narrative to go really viral because the pain that people feel is this high that they will go to Bitcoin.
I mean, like in countries that are really bad, this is already happening, of course. So like, Lebanon or something, or Iran, people are using Bitcoin there. Yeah, I think unfortunately probably things would have to go a lot worse, in terms of the society
Mm,
before this happens. And I think what also important is that, like you make a good point about that. Like some people, they discovered Ethereum and Bitcoin after the GME thing because
mm.
they were tired of getting yeah uh, basically unprivileged access, or how you say it? No, the opposite basically. So you know you had like the what's it called, the big hedge fund that had a big advantage over the
Yeah, I know
GME
what you
guy.
mean. Yeah,
Um,
I blanked on the name right now. Tower Capital, something along those lines.
no, it's something else, but it's okay. So yeah, I read it back then that some people, they were kind of pissed off at this, and they went to Ethereum and to like synthetics and other way to try to trade
Mm.
tokens on blockchains. So I do think some people went there, but yeah, it's not a huge move, and I think it's mainly because Robinhood is such a nice, intuitive app. So I think what
Mm.
needs to happen is to have a really, really, really good Bitcoin app. Then maybe people will
Mm.
change. Um,
But even Robinhood, they're getting totally wrecked since the Dogecoin trading went down. Their stock plummeted like crazy.
but
It
their
was a
activity
small
didn't
hype.
didn't plummet that much, right?
They,
Or did it?
they, no. They got totally wrecked. I think the Dogecoin trading volume was more than 50% of their overall volume, and then yeah, they got totally wrecked since the meme coins um yeah lowered the trading volume.
Okay, I thought meme coins were still the highest part of the Robinhood trading volume. But yeah, to be honest, I'm not entirely
Mm.
sure up to date with this. You're probably right. Um, so yeah, but by the way, I do have one point that I kind of disagree on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned that using Bitcoin as a payment method is dead. I mean, I
Mm.
would say it's probably not going to be as successful as other protocols, but I wouldn't call it dead though, because you have Lightning in El Salvador, and some more and more countries are you know looking to adopt
Yeah, fair
Bitcoin,
point.
as a
Yes.
legal tender. I think, yeah, some other Central American countries. I think one is already gonna, legalize it very soon, and I think maybe
Mm.
even Argentina or something was also thinking of
Wow.
it. So, yeah, yeah, it is definitely happening a little bit. Although, yeah, I agree that the volume is probably not like nothing like Ethereum's volume. It is still growing from a low point.
Mm. Yeah, fair point. I think this might take decades to play out.
Yeah.
And yeah, sooner or later it might happen. And Yeah, I'm just thinking about this. What could be the next narrative to bring Bitcoin the big boost? And I don't see any right now. And I might see the ones, but this is a real big macro thing, and I will just bring it up, but I have no idea how this stuff works. So I heard about the theory that bonds could get useless and that the bond money will transition into the Bitcoin space. But that's everything I know about it. I don't know if this even makes sense, but I heard somewhere that even the 30-year um, treasury bonds from the United States, they will be uh, super uninteresting for investors, and they might look for different opportunities. But I think I heard it on a crypto podcast, and they basically said, okay, people want to get their yield in Bitcoin, people want to get their yield in staking Ethereum, so take it with a grain of salt, right? Uh, Obviously, the crypto guys say that, yeah, bonds are going to get wrecked, and then the money will obviously go to crypto and never to some other places. But I thought this was pretty interesting, and yeah. But besides this, I don't see any big thing right now.
Yeah, yeah, me neither. But I wonder how much of it is this recency bias, because Bitcoin has
Mm,
relatively underperformed. That's why we think it will continue to underperform. But yeah,
mm.
we don't know.
Yeah, but you can almost take comparison to gold, right? Where was gold a year ago? At the same place where it's right now, and I think Bitcoin gets more and more into the narrative of gold, and I think Bitcoin will outperform gold, but I just think someday you need to take it a year-over-year chart to get a good chart for the growth of Bitcoin. So you need to take a look at, I think, quarterly candles right now for gold to be a little bit bullish on gold. And yeah, I don't know if I want to be positioned in this way. For now, I feel really comfortable, but I don't know if I have that much Bitcoin in a year. Right now, I have about 20% Bitcoin. I know it's not much, but I wouldn't be surprised in 1 year that I have less than 15%. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Do you want to transition to the what excites us part?
Sure.
Okie dokie. Yeah, I do have two topics that excite me. Do you want me to start, or do you want to give a topic of yours?
You just start, Patrick.
Okie dokie. Yeah, the first thing I'm super excited about is that we started with the um, video course Solana Yield Farming from Scratch. So we published the first episode on how to get Solana. Guys and girls, please take a look at it. Give us some feedback. We hope you learn a lot. Let us know on how we can improve on those tutorials. They should be around 10 to 15 minutes. We will record about 16 or so, depending on the depths we want to go with in those this course. The first episode is out there. We do run into some issues with the laptop. It gets quite overheated, so the camera lags from time to time. But I think the voice is fine. The content is fine. So I hope you get a lot of enjoyment out of this and a lot of education. So this is the first thing that gets me excited. And the other thing that gets me excited is I'm getting really excited about the crypto plus gaming space, even more by now, because I think right now is the first time in this bull run where people get a little bit skeptical about NFTs, about crypto plus gaming. And I think that now might be the time where I need to allocate myself a little bit more to it, DCAing into it, so dollar cost averaging into it. And I think that the bottom is not in. I think those protocols and also your beloved Illuvium, I think they have a pretty high likelihood of going down over 90%. But I think that's a fair bet to take and a fair gamble to take. So I'm getting super excited about the crypto plus gaming space, and I would like to um, give you some things where I think the Luvium stuff and the metaverse stuff and the crypto plus gaming stuff, they might not make that much sense for me. And I know you do a lot of research about those topics. You are a deep thinker, a heavy investor, and I know you are someone who has taking calculated bets. So I would like to give you some of my points, and I would like to hear your responses to those points, not to chill this investment, but just to get for our listeners and me a better understanding on the things where I might have some concerns right now on how those protocols could survive over the next couple of years.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so yeah, maybe let's just pick two of my biggest concerns, and then we see if we want to expand on it or if we just want to make a special episode, because I do have yeah, quite a lot of concerns. And I don't want to be bearish. I'm just doing my thinking, and I do those pre-mortems. Pre-mortems are basically, okay, let's imagine that this thing died. Why did it die? But I do it in advance, basically. So the first thing I want to hear your opinion about is, if you take a look at Illuvium, for example, and again, I don't want to FUD Illuvium. I don't want to talk it down. I think it's pretty awesome what they built. My thinking is basically the following. If I take a look at the fully diluted valuation right now of those protocols, they are in the multi-billions. And I'm wondering, where do you see the fair value of the fully diluted market cap right now for Illuvium? The really fair value, without hype, without expectations for the next 5 years on that they want to build up multiple studios, that they want to have their own movies and stuff like this. Where do you see the really fair value right now for Illuvium?
Okay, this is a really hard question. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you're talking about fully diluted values. It's not something I really, yeah, really use a lot or think about a lot. Um, from what I understand, their goal is to get 100 million players and to become bigger than basically Fortnite right now. So let's say you have 100 million players, and I don't know what the average player spend is per month. Maybe it's like, let's say let's aim on the low side. Let's say it's like $5 or something. So that's um, 500 million per month, and that means like 5 billion or 6 billion per year.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, of course, this is not sustainable forever, but it could be sustainable for a couple of years. This is, of course, a bit longer term, and this is not next year or
Mm.
even the year after, or maybe even the year after. So if you look at it from that angle, they do make big revenue because they're trying to make a game that's fun to play even without the crypto aspects. So
Mm.
they will also attract people who are not purely into crypto, but who are just like the game for what the game is basically.
Mm.
So yeah, it's probably high. It's probably higher than 10 than what you mentioned. Like you mentioned 10 billion or something, or 2 billion, a couple billion, right? That's the fully diluted value right now.
It's 11.7 billion right now.
Yeah, it's 11.7 billion, I think. Yeah. So
So roughly 12 billion right now.
yeah, so I mean, it's really hard to to put these kind of valuations up, but yeah, I think the token can easily 3x or something. Um, so yeah, I think it's way higher to be honest, but we'll see. Maybe I'm totally wrong.
Mm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
you do need to have like good revenues, and like it can't just be synthetic revenue that you fake basically. Like you have to really
Mm.
have people who really love it for what it is and who want to spend money on it basically.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's super interesting. That's a really interesting point. Again, I don't want to FUD your decision, and I don't want to FUD Illuvium, but if you will listen to yourself and to justify the valuation of 12 billion by making a guess on that they will have 100 million users when the game might be out in 2 years, 3 years, and Fortnite is on the market for multiple years and they have 80 million users. So I think it's a super freaking stretch. And yeah, I would love to hear more about how could they justify this valuation. It doesn't make much sense to me at all. And yeah, as long as I don't can make that much sense out of it, I don't know if I'm willing to take the gamble. Um, yeah. Any comment on this?
No, I mean it's fair enough. I can understand where you're coming from. Um, by the way, what I just mentioned, I also listened to an interview with Santiago Santos, I think. Yeah, like he's also like
Ah, the guy with the nice hair, the full hair. Yeah,
I don't know. He has
the
glasses, brown
yeah,
hair or
yeah, we
something.
know. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, so th that guy. So he had an interview with an Illuvium, yeah, content creator basically, and yeah, there they said that first their goal was, to be bigger than Synthetics, and because he has like a private Telegram channel with the Illuvium founders, right? And he helps a lot. So
Mm,
he says actually because he's also like a VC, right? But he spends most of his time on Illuvium at the moment. What is what he said. So that was pretty interesting. Um, but yeah, they said that basically they surpassed the goal from Synthetics, and now the next goal is something way higher. So they put a
mm,
lot of stretch goals basically in their mind. Of course, everyone could do that, and it doesn't mean that you will get it, of course.
mm,
But yeah, we'll see, Patrick. The future will tell. I mean, I could be totally
mm,
off base. Yeah, we don't know.
yeah. So I think your theory could make sense in one point, and I don't know if I want to invest in it because the theory is basically the following I'm having right now, and it's not fully fleshed out. I know you are someone who is really doing his research, and you are a really good investor. You do your deep research, you take calculated bets, and you are basically a strong holder. I think you are so much into Illuvium that you are one of the guys who is not looking to sell. And if the whole tribe about Illuvium is pretty much like you, then my argument of the fully diluted market cap as a joke is totally thrown out the window because if people are holding onto their bags, it's totally fine. It comes down to the people who hold their bags. And maybe that the whole ecosystem around NFT, crypto plus gaming, they get a different kind of investor. They get investors who are looking more into the future, into okay, what could be, what should be, what might be, and this gives them enough in conviction to not sell when the market goes down. I'm just not sure because all of the investors basically I met over the last couple of years, not all, but a lot of them, they usually talk about okay, there is a cycle, and if the cycle tops, I will sell my bags and I will get back in when it's when it's um when it's cheaper. So they do it from an investment point of view to make money, and maybe those investors are different. They do it to support the vision. They do it to support the game. Yeah. What do you think about this? Are those different investors like the DeFi investors?
No, I think actually the investors that are right now, of course, the investors are mainly DeFi investors and also crypto gaming investors. But I think once mainstream gamers will come, they will also hold the token. So I think they will become the biggest group of investors in the protocol, and not
Hmm.
the DeFi
Yeah, interesting.
investors per se.
Hmm.
Um, Sorry, I had another point, but I kind of lost it.
Mm.
No, yeah, just please continue. I forgot my point that I was going
Okay,
to
okay.
mention.
Okay, then let me try to fud it with another point. And again, I don't want to fud it. I think
I found my
I'm
point, by the way.
okay. Yeah, then go ahead.
Yeah, so like you were saying that it's big, bigger than being bigger than Fortnite. That's a huge stretch, and I can imagine that. But in terms of revenues, Xe is not that far off from Fortnite earlier this year. So and we're still super super early with crypto gaming. So
Mm,
just imagine in a couple of years, when the onboarding is
yeah,
going to be a lot easier, the games are going to be a lot better. I mean, I think it's actually extremely
yeah,
likely that crypto games will become bigger than Fortnite.
yeah. But that's actually the same point we have problems with because you are speaking about the future, and I think that you invest in the future. You invest in the things that might come, and in things that I invest right now personally, there is the use case right now and not 3 to 5 years in the future. And I'm just struggling with the concept. Um, Obviously, the investments where I'm in, there is huge upside as well. But for now, there is at least a use case. There is at least something where I see, okay, there are transactions going. And yeah, I might lacking a little bit of imagination for this investment.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand it. Like, they haven't shipped the product yet, so it could turn out to be very disappointing or whatever. So,
Mm,
yeah, what gives me, faith that it isn't vaporware is basically that the devs are basically, they have a channel in Discord called Character Leaks, and they're
mm,
they're leaking things like every day or multiple times per day, and
mm,
even on the weekend, like on a Saturday, you see the devs talking to each other on a Sunday.
yeah,
So I don't know any other protocol where the devs are leaking things on a Saturday evening or on a
mm,
Sunday morning. So
yeah.
yeah,
That's
that
a good
gives me a
sign.
lot of faith that at least they're working on something and it's not just vaporware.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And before you got your point again in your mind, I was just saying the disclaimer again. So I'm 98% sold on Illuvium. I think it makes a lot of sense, but I'm just trying to figure out the things that don't make much sense to me. And another point is the following. Maybe you can give your response to this, and then we go to our portfolio challenge. Yeah, there is this game which gets built for how much years? It's a star game, like it's
Star
a
Atlas.
pretty yeah, but Star Rail is pretty much the same. But there is also this Star Citizen game or so. It got funding is 10 years ago, so it will never get released most likely. But
Yeah, you're right.
Star Atlas is pretty much the same issue I'm having. So I'm following this guy on YouTube, and I like his content, and he's called the Metaverse Explorer. And the Metaverse Explorer, he does a couple times a month his Atlas, so Star Atlas series. And every second title, basically, I'm overemphasizing a little bit, but basically every second title is okay, something got delayed, something got delayed, delayed again, delayed, 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 delayed. So it seems like there is a lot of promising, a lot of deadlines, a lot of communications, a lot of hopium, a lot of we will have this and this and this by this and this and this date, and then okay, guys, it's delayed. I'm wondering, do you see how do you see the chance that in Illuvium gets delayed so much that the hype around Illuvium will go down to a point where it's basically going into an own hopium bear market because of the delaying. This has price impact, the prices will go down, and then this death spiral continues. They don't have enough money basically because the token went down to incentivize the developers to pay them. They don't have enough power, enough spending power for the marketing to build up the hopium. So this whole process of delaying things, price depreciation, too little funding for marketing for the developers. This leads to more delaying. This leads to more price depreciation. This leads to lesser funding. So I think that this downward spiral could get really freaking fast. Yeah, what do you think about the risk of delaying and this downward spiral?
I mean, this risk would definitely exist if you have a long delay, like, if I'm talking about 6 months or something, or even longer. And,
Mm,
that's not uncommon for games, of course, because some games are delayed for years. Um, yeah, but in this case, I don't think this will happen. So I was listening to another interview with the developers recently, and they were asked about their new, roadmap, and they basically said, March was their goal, but they're probably gonna, not make it completely, but it's not gonna be that much later, So maybe like
mm,
April, probably, or maybe May tops, 2 months delay.
mm,
So I think that's yeah, I think that's perfectly fine, especially because you will have open and closed betas
mm,
and these kind of
yeah,
things, so people will still be able to play and see that there's a product out there.
mm,
So yeah, in this case, I'm not too concerned about it, but for Star Atlas, for Star Atlas, I mean that's a very ambitious game. Illuvium is a pretty simple game. It's just like how do you call it? Team fight tactics combined with an open world, and that's it.
yeah.
So
And
it's very
Pokemon.
easy. Yeah, yeah, it's basically yeah. So it's a very easy concept basically, but Star Atlas that's
Yeah,
like super ambitious. I can
yeah,
definitely see that getting delayed for years and years and years.
yeah. I agree. I just need to. It's so weird. It just struck me how dumb I am sometimes, how naive I am, and basically the whole thing I just brought up in order to poke holes in Illuvium. I said basically, okay, what about a delay of a couple of months, right?
Hmm.
And now ask me again, what is my biggest bag? And yeah, ask me how they are doing about delaying and how I would respond to delaying.
Touche.
And yeah, I'm basically building a lot of my Ethereum hopium is about yeah, the beacon chain will come out, but we say this since the end of 2017. So maybe my argument is totally irrelevant and totally yeah, makes no sense for the crypto space because a lot of it is built about it in crypto besides Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just Bitcoin, not much hopium. But yeah, maybe this argument is just an inheritive to the crypto space. Some people stretch it a little bit more, like Statless, but I don't want to fat them as well, obviously. But yeah, I think your point is a good point. I think that there might be a delay, but as long as the delay is not that big, that it will has serious price depreciation power, I think Illuvium might be fine.
Yeah, and g gamers are used to games being delayed. Just look
Yeah,
at like I don't know if you like Dragon Age, for instance. They have it's been delayed for many years.
man,
The next Skyrim is being delayed for many years.
yeah,
GTA takes ages, and even
yeah.
yeah, you and I like MMOs, so MMOs get delayed all the time.
Oh
So
man, don't talk about Blizzard and the new add-ons. I remember the day when one of the developers basically had enough, and he basically uh, come up with the quote. What do they say right
s-
now all the time? It's done when
soon
it's done, also,
trademark.
right?
Oh yeah, it's done. It's
Yeah,
done when it's done. Yeah.
yeah, it's done when it's done. Like the Blizzard quote for years or so, and yeah. Yeah, I think you have a good point. So yeah, thank you for your replies. I do have quite more of things I would like to poke into Illuvium and the metaverse gaming, but I think for now yeah, thanks for your replies. They do make a lot of sense to me. I will re-listen to them again and I will do some thinking about it. But yeah, I think your investment thesis is not totally dumb. It's just it wouldn't be my taste, but that's totally fine, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's what makes this a fun podcast, right? But yeah, I could be
Yeah.
totally wrong, and there's definitely bad things about Olympian as well, though. So I don't think everything is
Yeah.
everything is
Yeah,
shiny. There are some bad
the
things as well.
main issue I'm having with your investment, and you know this, but I want to make sure that all of our listeners hear it. The main issue I'm having with your Illuvium investment is the locking up and that you have more than 50% in it. That's my main issue with it. But I know there is a reason behind it. It went up a lot. Your funds are locked. Blah 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 blah. Everything like this. But you're just to say it every single podcast, yeah, please be cautious. And please, guys out there, be cautious if you go into an investment where there is a lockup and some, yeah, of those game dynamics, because I think that's a really big risk.
Yep.
Okay, do we want to transition to the last part or Solana challenge part?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, do you want to start?
Yeah, let me start this time. So yeah, so basically last week the dollar value of my Sol portfolio was $933. And this week it's $920, so I lost roughly $14. And yeah, Solana actually the price stayed relatively similar, so it gained 10 cents roughly. So yeah, I underperformed Solana. What I did last week is I expected this week the price to go down further because I
Okay.
thought people were still liquidating to close their books for the end of the year. So I thought the funds and stuff they were still
Oh, interesting.
gonna sell. So this was my theory. And also I found a really good yield farming pool um, on Orca, which is staked Sol from Lido combined with the USDC. So what I decided to do is to swap out some of my Sol for USDC and to stake my Sol into Lido's staked Sol and then pair it, and then put it in Orca. So the yield was really good for Yeah, a day or two, like above 100%, but then it dropped rapidly, and now it's like 20% or something.
Mm.
So yeah, the lesson that I learned was first of all, don't underestimate the value of the cost of swapping because I swapped a pretty
Yeah.
big amount. And second, what I didn't realize is that you can stake your soul into Lido staked soul, but if you want to
No.
unstake it, it takes 3 days.
Mm.
So you're locked up unless you swap it, you know. So what I usually do is I will swap it because I don't want to
Mm.
have 3 days of no yield on
Mm.
my soul. So this is another thing that you have to be careful for.
Mm.
And another thing is like when a pair is too good to be true, like staked soul USDC getting 100%, don't expect it to last too long.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't have done this back in hindsight because it only lasted like 2 days or something, or less than
Yeah,
two
but
days.
dropping from 100% to 20 is quite rough. I would have guessed that it goes from 100 to 90 to 80 to 70 to 60 to 50, but not from 100 to 20 immediately.
Yeah, I expected that as well because I think, the Lido staked soul is still less popular than, for instance, M soul. So
Mm.
I thought it was still, not that common of a
Mm.
pairing. But yeah, I was totally
Yeah.
wrong in that regard. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but that, sorry, I
no,
wouldn't.
good. I didn't have anything to add.
But I think that's really, 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 really good, and I think that's the main goal of this challenge. We are learning it, right? We are learning it, and you learned that the swapping fees are quite high. You learned that the APY might get demolished within 1 day. So that's the reason why we do it, right? So I think
Yeah, exactly.
you had a really good hypothesis. You found some alpha, and now you learned that those APYs get arbitraged really quickly. And so I think it's super valuable that you bring it up. Um, I'm wondering, when you stake your soul on Lido, do you have to pay fee? Maybe you spend some fee there for the withdrawal, for the deposit. Do you have any idea about this?
To be honest, I didn't really look into it, but I think you just have the transaction fee, but nothing else.
Ah, okay. Yeah, maybe that's the case, but
You
maybe
know,
that's not the case.
the fee, I think, what Lido takes is they take a cut on your interest, basically, So
Ah,
they get
okay.
money from staking and they take a little cut from it. So you don't have to
Mm,
pay anything to get into Lido Stake Soul. They want you to get into it.
mm, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And you said that you swapped half of your balance, right?
Yeah, correct.
So maybe help us with a quick napkin math. So let's say, for example, just to make it easy, um, let's say this was worth 500 bucks. I know it's not, but let's say it was worth it. Um, do you know the fees that you have to pay in order to swap $500? How much fees those you have to pay for it?
Well, normally it's 30 basis points, I think, on a normal LP
Th-
kind of
th- 30
Uniswap
basis
scheme.
points means 0.0%, right?
Uh, 0.03%, I think. A basis point is 100%.
Okay. So on Ethereum, it's usually 0.3%, and so
Okay,
you
yeah,
need,
I mean you're probably right. I'm probably missing one order of magnitude there.
yeah, I think that's really interesting. So let's say you swap half of your balance. Um, I know if you just swap $500, it's not that much that you have to pay $1.50 in fees. But imagine you do this a couple times a month. This could basically wreck your APYs. So be careful, guys. If you have 20% APY and you pay them for a little bit of tiny swap, which is just one click, because it's just a swap, it's just one click, you could basically lower your yield from 20% to, if you do this a couple times a month. I, I think you did a calculation around this mark, right? That the APY drops quite substantial, right?
Yeah, correct. The more you swap, yeah, your APY drops rapidly.
Mm.
Yeah, there's definitely some hidden fees that you don't
Yeah.
think about.
I think from the back of my mind, you did some calculations like, imagine you swap every second week your balance. The APY would get basically halved if the APY would be at 80%. So after the swapping is basically like 40%, something along those lines. Really,
Hmm.
really, really hefty, right?
Yeah, it's really heavy because You pay it over your total account amount, so
Mm,
it's such a
yeah,
it sounds like a small amount, but because it's over your total account,
mm,
it adds up.
yeah, yeah. But I think you had a good hypothesis. It's just yeah, did not play out because
Hmm.
the APYs got a little bit wrecked. But that's how
Yeah,
we do it.
and Sol didn't go down, so I expected Sol to go down,
Yeah,
and it didn't
that's
really
true
go
as
down.
well.
So that was also
Yeah,
wrong on my side.
yeah, it's super interesting. So uh, I'm taking a look right now at the prices of Soul at the recording of our last three episodes. And I think you don't have the sheet open right now. Do you want to take a guess on where Soul was uh, 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, and today?
Well, I mean, I took a screenshot, so I know
Yeah,
what it's
okay,
gonna
you
be.
know it.
But for our viewers or listeners, it's mainly around 181, 182. It stayed pretty
Yeah,
much constant over the
yeah,
last 3 weeks.
it's totally like a stable coin. So
Wow.
just as a funny note, so 2 weeks ago it was at 181.87. The week after was at 182.12, so roughly 40 cents more. And this week it's around 182.31, so 10 cents more. So within 3 weeks, within 2 weeks, it declined by 0.05% or so. So totally stable coin, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, good for yield farming, but bad for making calculated bets like you did.
Yep.
Yeah, do you want to add anything, or do you want to hear what I did?
No, I'm curious to hear what you did this time.
Okay, yeah, fasten your seatbelts. I'm going down the Degen road, and so when I started a couple of months ago, you might remember that I did some pretty similar bets like you did this week. So I was speculating that the price will go down, and the price shot up. So I got wrecked, and I was also learning that don't want to do this because it's super minus EV for my lifetime EV, because I need to take a look at charts, and I don't want to do this. I just want to stick to high conviction bets and just let it ride out, and let the APYs take care of the gain. So I stick to my thesis, and I stick to my philosophy of sticking to high conviction bets and earning yield of it. I just got a little bit more degen in regards to where do I put my money. So when we started the challenge, I had most of it in my wallet, and I was selling half of it into USDC, speculating on a dump, and then to buy back in later at a cheaper price. I don't want to do this again, and yeah, so I do it like this. So my portfolio decreased from roughly 860 to roughly 856, so minus $4 roughly. So I outperformed you by underperforming the market. Uh, I lost zero point zero 0.02 Sol, and I think that's 100% in regards to the reason which I give you now. So I positioned my funds. I have about $20 or so in my wallet, and the rest is all in smart contracts. So I do use quite a lot of smart contracts right now. And when you do use those smart contracts, you do have to open up accounts in order to deposit there. I could close those accounts, but it's just the rent I pay, and you obviously have also to pay. If we close those accounts, we get the money back. So for this week, I'm pretty much flat. But I got into the following protocols. So I will show you exactly what I do, but again, no financial advice, and I do this for um, speculating on airdrops and also getting yield. So I do the following. I have about $100 positioned on Drift protocol, and I am 2x long on Sol. Drift protocol does not have a token, and if they launch a token someday somehow, and they might never ever launch it, other protocols have shown that if you use the protocol um, above a certain threshold, you might be eligible for an airdrop. So right now I'm 2x long on Drift, which in itself might be minus EV right now because I have to pay funding fees most of the times. But if they come up with an airdrop, it will be hugely plus EV. The second thing I'm doing is that I'm in Chest Finance. Chest Finance is a protocol where they have vaults, and you can deposit Ethereum, Solana, BTC, and stuff like this. So you deposit your high conviction tokens, and they basically sell options. They sell covered calls, they sell puts, and yeah, I don't want to go down this road, and I know this is a deep topic, selling options, but as a really rough explanation, you're basically giving up the upside, and you're getting a premium for selling the upside, and you get a guaranteed yield, which is called the premium. And I do this on Chest Finance because they don't have a token. I do this on Cortana. Cortana is one of the hackathon winners of the last hackathon. I might even think they are the main winner, right?
I've never heard of Cortana. Like
Katana, like the
Cortana.
sword,
Oh,
Katana.
Katana. Okay.
Katana.
I mean, I saw a lot of news about Katana coming by this week, but to be honest, I've never investigated the protocol. It is also
Yeah,
like something with liquidity, right? That yeah, you get yield on. Yeah, I'm not sure on like financial products basically. Like
yeah,
could you explain Katana?
yeah. Katana's doing basically the same as Chest Finance. They are selling options, and you get a yield for this. So they give you the premium. And I'm pretty sure that they were the winner of the last Ignition hackathon a couple of months ago, maybe even in April. So I think the team is super good. So I do pretty much the same on Chest Finance and on Katana. And I do also the same on man, now I'm bad.
Friction da.
Friction. Exactly. I do the same on Friction, and yeah, it's just one of the things I learned over the last couple of years. Um, Position yourself for airdrops if they might come. This might be super nice. If they don't come, yeah, I get some yield, and I think you get about 20% or so, or 30% on your soul by doing this, by going into the vaults. And if you take a look at different pools and different opportunities, getting 20% on your soul is freaking incredible. So I think from a yield perspective, it's super good. From an airdrop hunting perspective, pretty good. So if you take this into consideration, I've done a little bit of due diligence about if I trust the team. The Chest Finance guys, I don't know so much about if this is legit. So the airdrop hunting guide on the airdrop hunting on those protocols, it might be risky in order to get a rug pull. And if I get rug pulled, yeah, I diversified. It would get a pretty big blow to my portfolio, like $100 if one rugs, and $100 out of 860. It's how much is it? Yeah, 12% or so, right? Something along those lines.
Hmm.
So I think it's a risk, but a calculated risk, and I think it's pretty good plus EV. So the EV guy in myself, he's quite proud with this decision, and if it plays out, I think it's a pretty good EV bet. So this is what I do right now. I have all my money basically in different protocols. I speculate on airdrops. I also get a yield. I think that the chances of rugging are quite low because I did my research. Obviously, they could rug, but I think the chances are quite low. And yeah, this is basically what I do for the upcoming week. I don't want to um, change anything right now. If there is a big news event, like, okay, there is Chest Finance number 2, for example, and then I just bring it up, and they have a pretty awesome vault, I might transition in there, but for now, I feel really comfortable in my strategy.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to see, once you get those airdrops, if you get them, like how much it will propel you forward. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I
Yeah,
think it's going to be very interesting that we have two different strategies here. I do have a
yeah,
question for you though. So
yeah,
you've
sure.
used Katana, Frisian Dao, and Chess. They're all doing
Yes.
relatively similar things. So which one out of these three do you like to use the most? Like which one do you think has the best UI or the best experience?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think that the most fun I have on chess by far. Just go into the Discord. It's so dumb. It's so idiotic. They do all these memes like Jack Sparrow, and we have this new treasury. So from the fun point of view and from the UI point of view, I think Chess Finance is by far the best. From a user experience point of view, I think Katana is the clear winner. And Friction, yeah, I don't have that much to say about it. They launched their mainnet a couple of days ago, so I'm not that deep into the community, and they don't have the legitimacy of being a hackathon winner. Um, so I think the biggest X factor is by far Chest Finance. I think they can pull it off. And the most legit one, which if I had a gun to my head, which I don't have, luckily, I would give Katana the thumbs up because I think the chances of them rugging or doing dumb shit are magnitudes lower than on Chest Finance. But yeah, I think if you jump into Discord and you feel comfortable with what's going on Chest Finance, I think it's not a big risk if you put a little bit of your money, like I did, do like 10% of my portfolio, of my gambling portfolio, of our Solana Challenge portfolio. It's not 10% of my whole portfolio. I would never do this, but 10% of the small portfolio, I think it's a good bet.
Cool.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Do we have anything else, or should we wrap it up?
No, I would say, yeah, let's wrap it up.
Okie dokie. Yeah, as a quick reminder, guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to jump in our Discord. We will absolutely love to hear your feedback about our YouTube yield farming from scratch episode. Also, if you want to do me a personal favor, go on to Twitter and take a look at the spreadsheet of Mark. He's putting a lot of freaking effort into the Solana spreadsheet. I think it's a really, 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 really awesome table that he is building, and you can get a lot of alpha out of it. So if you want to make me a present, go over to Twitter, give Mark a quick comment to his sheet. He's putting a lot of effort into it. Share it, retweet it, post a comment, and yeah, I would appreciate it. Besides this, yeah, guys, enjoy your Christmas, enjoy the time with your family. Have a nice Christmas, and we see us next week. So we see us in 2020 again, and we will have a special episode for 2020 at the end of 2020. We will do some predictions. We will do a little bit of recap, and yeah, just a good a good last vibe for the end of the year.
Yep. So have a great Christmas, everyone.
Okay, take care. Bye
Bye
bye,
bye.
guys.
Bye bye.